Morning, it's Thursday, March 27th, and I'm going to do a quick bar by bar, and then I'm going to get into my pre-market routine and go over my last journal entry. Get a sip of some caffeine. All right. Okay, so I left it that way for a reason. First bar of the day. Bear doji bar, probably a trading range. Better to wait. Broke to the upside, but big tail breaking out of here. Closing above, but big tail. And that big tail testing this high close, or prices in here, makes me think that this may lead to a pullback. Okay, we went a little bit higher, closer to yesterday's high and the high close here. And we reversed down. Deep pullback and a second leg for the bulls, maybe. But three legs up, channel overshoot here, channel overshoot here, breakout here with no follow through. Makes me think that we're going to go short. Also, I don't have it marked, but right up here is the pre-market high. So we're double topping with the pre-market high. It's a failed breakout here and a double top there. Therefore, it's a really good short. But it's a bull channel, so I would scalp out probably at the moving average. It looks like that's what a lot of bears did. You can sell here, but probably better to wait and see the follow through and sell a pullback. Big bar, big risk. Risk is bull channel and buyers below these swing lows. But small pullback and follow through, but another big tail testing a trap price for the bears here, here, and here. A failed low 3 and letting those bears out. Big tail makes me think we'll pull back. Maybe always in short, but trading range open. This could be the wrong direction still. Prior day low here. I imagine we're heading to there and maybe heading here. But we'll see. Probably better to wait. And then a surprisingly big bar breaking below yesterday's low and another big tail, parabolic wedge. I'm thinking that we have to pull back here, or we need to pull back. We have the daily moving average here. And that makes me think that we're going to test it and find support and bounce. We have buyers at the close, and we broke out above the high of the prior bar, and we found a bunch of sellers. So there's a problem for the bulls, and that is this open gap between the open of the day and this pullback. And this gap may close if we're going to form a trading range or a bull channel, but I think the bull channel thesis is dead, and I think the trading range thesis is still alive. It's just that we may need to go a little bit higher before we go lower, judging by this strong leg up. It's a parabolic wedge. This could be leg 1. This could be a pullback. Therefore, we may need leg 2 to retrace some of the tail on this bar. It's a reasonable short, but I imagine we find buyers below, a failed low 1, and then we bounce up for a high 2. So failed low 1, we rallied a little bit, and we're back below yesterday's low. We may go lower, but these tails and the buying pressure here makes me think that we need to pull back a little bit more, but probably we're going to end up going lower. The moving average now sloped steeply downward. Good bull bar for a high 2. Reasonable buy setup for a trading range reversal. A failed breakout of the prior day low and a high 2 at the bottom of the range. The problem for the bulls is the channel down is really tight, and that makes me think that the breakout may fail and or be disappointing in some way, and the second entry may need a second entry. We're still inside of a very tight bear channel. We went outside down. This is really a sell the close bar, but I think it's risky because you're at the bottom of the range and you got support right here. But realistically, we're probably going to go lower. A lot of selling pressure. We may get a measured move down. I would be surprised, frankly. Yesterday was a small range day after a big gap up and a bull trend. So we may be going lower to test the start of the channel, which is down here. Good sell signal, reasonable to sell here. Really good follow through, surprisingly good. And big tail, but closing beyond a lot of support. Therefore, whatever reversal we get, likely to find sellers on a breakout test up to here, maybe the close, maybe buyers at the close getting out, or buyers at these lows getting out if we do pull back. Strong bull bar testing these lows, but really not a good buy. It's a high 1 after a bear breakout. So I think it's likely to find bad follow through. Minimal follow through, not closing beyond the prior bar, small pullback, testing support, the daily moving average, and we may be moving higher, but this looks like a minor reversal in a tight bear channel. Okay, we tested yesterday's low and reversed down. That means that there's sellers up there, and there's no coincidence. It's a perfect breakout test at that price level. So I imagine we need to go lower. It's a reasonable sell signal, but not strong. But I think it is reasonable to take, especially since the bulls are really running out of momentum here. More loss of momentum in a lower high. Reasonable to sell below that bar as well. For the bulls, it's leg one. It's sideways. Maybe we'll get a leg two, but we may need to break out to the downside first. Bulls are hoping that that breakout fails and we find buyers at the low close or buyers down here. Maybe buyers at this moving average. Therefore, it's not a great short, but I think it's reasonable since this breakout test has failed and we have a lower high and a smaller body bull bar. Okay, at the low close, maybe we'll find buyers down here. Really good bear bar. Technically sell the close, but you run the risk of having a double bottom on a line chart. Big bull bar, double bottom, high 2, but really strong opposite signal bar. 30% chance that this leads to 1 times the range of this bar to the upside. Therefore, it's actually reasonable to sell here with a stop up there, betting that you get here before you get there. Because 30% chance you get here. 30% chance you get here before you get down there. Anyway, bull bar, but tail makes me think we're pulling back. Another breakout test of these lows in the prior day low, and a failed breakout test of EMA as well. 2 legs up in a trading range. Let's see the follow through. Bear inside bar with a deep pullback, reasonable sell signal, probably sellers above. Maybe we get a 3rd leg up for a wedge bear flag at the moving average, but I think this is a reasonable short as well. Bears are not trapped. They sold above here, and they were able to make money. And there are no trapped bears. So far, bulls bought above here, disappointed, may look to get out at the close of this bar. Therefore, reasonable to sell here, or sell above, or sell the stop entry. 2nd leg up for the bulls. 2nd test of the moving average, a high 3. That's 3 legs up, a wedge bear flag. And bull bar with the tail below the low of the prior day. Closing below the low of the prior day. Makes me think that probably this rally is still minor. But it is a trading range, and it's going to be tough to break out of it unless we get some strength. We do have a lot of selling pressure on the day. Strong selling pressure here, a lot here, and here, here. Where are the consecutive strong bull bars? We don't have them, but we do have consecutive strong bear bars here and here. But not through here, and we're starting to build buying pressure. That makes me think that we need to go a little bit higher. But let's see the follow through here. We may get the bull breakout above the moving average. Good signal bar for a bull breakout, but still below the moving average and trying to break out back above the prior day low. Let's see what happens. This has been now almost an hour of sideways to up. Outside down bear doji bar at the moving average. Probably we start to go a little bit lower. Could be a failed high 3, which is a wedge. We're right near a breakout test here. We don't have a gap, but we are at the moving average. Maybe always in long. I think we're still below it, and we're still maybe always in short. I think it's reasonable to be short here. But probably better to wait for some more follow through and confirmation. And here it is. 2 bars down, consecutive bear bars. We don't have consecutive bull bars since here, and they're weak. We have consecutive bull bars here, but they're weak. And we have consecutive bear bars here. You could say they're weak, they're dojis, but I think that it's a sign of strength and a sign of possible trend resumption from the moving average. And if this is going to be a bear trend, we're going to respect the moving average, and we're going to move lower and make a new low. Looks like we're heading that way. We've got a really strong bear bar closing on its low and below here, below the double bottom. So that makes me think maybe we're going to get a measured move down at this trading range. So good bear bar, probably sell the close with a stop up here. Probably better to just stop up here. rather than here, because you run the risk of having a triple bottom and deep pullback before we go lower. But bear bar, big tail, makes me think we'll pull back. We got about to the measured move, and we got a channel forming here. You could say that we have a channel here, and maybe we're doing something like that down here, but we'll see. I think that we need to pull back a little bit, but we did close below the swing low, and that's a breakout, but the breakout bar is not very strong, and we are right at the moving average for the 60-minute chart, and a whole round number, 572. We pulled back to almost 572.50, so let's see the follow through. Bear bar, or bull bar, excuse me, but weak. Testing the close here, maybe testing these breakout points and finding sellers. Big leg 1 pullback, maybe we'll get leg 2, it's a low 1, but I'm not sure that it's a high probability sell. We probably need to go more sideways to up like we did here, maybe a couple of legs. Reasonable short, but pretty risky. Okay, inside bar, probably going to go a little bit higher, but I imagine sellers up here. Reasonable to sell below this bar, but really not ideal because it's a strong opposite bar. Okay, good. We broke to the upside first and then turned down. I think that's a little bit higher probability sell because we have leg 1, pullback, leg 2 with a lower high in a trading range. Here's the bottom, here's the top. So reasonable to sell here, stop above. Even sell the close here, stop above. Probably we're going to go lower. We may need to go a little bit more sideways here. Follow through and momentum building for the bears. The channel is starting to get parabolic, and that makes me wonder if it's getting a little overdone. But we're closing below that channel line. 25% chance we accelerate to the downside, 75% chance we correct to the upside. We'll see the follow through. Big bear bar. Looks like the low probability thing is happening here. But we tested support last week's high, this week's open, round number, and we reversed up. That makes me think that we'll pull back, but there's so much selling pressure that there's really no reason to buy. If anything, you should be looking to sell pullbacks, maybe tests of this close or that low. Small pullback, and then an even more climactic bar breaking out further below everything to the left. So we're getting pretty overdone here. And that makes me think we need to pull back. This is a parabolic wedge on a smaller time frame. And this tail is bigger, successively bigger than the last few tails. So probably we're due for a pullback, but realistically probably sellers above. Bear inside bar, probably the breakout will go a little bit lower, but probably profit taking down here, and possibly bulls looking to buy around a prior day low and a big round number, 570. Bull breakout testing the breakout point, but reversing down. It's weak, it's a bad high 1, probably we pull back. I imagine the short triggers, but I imagine the short might fail. Okay, bull inside bar. This could be a small final flag for the bears. Tight trading range, consolidating below resistance. We may get the bull breakout. We do have 2 bull bars, but really not a good high 2. Bear bar, probably going lower. Reasonable to sell here, but we may need to pull back and go more sideways. Tight trading range. I think the low 1, I said over here it might fail. Probably still might fail. Maybe buyers down here, profit taking, but reasonable to be short with a stop up there, but risky. Okay, the low 1 has failed and reversed up, but we found sellers above at this close and above the high of this bear bar. I think it's reasonable to look to sell another failure or sell below this bar with a stop somewhere up here. Okay, strong bull bar. It might be by the close, but it's 2 legs up in an overall tight trading range, and it's testing the close of this bear bar. And if you think about it, we have 1 pullback, 2 pullback, higher low, 1, maybe 2, deep pullback, 1, maybe 2. So we have nested 2-leg pattern here, breaking above resistance, and I think we might go higher. Better to wait for the follow through here. Probably not a good idea to buy. Probably better to wait and see the follow through. Just about outside down, deep pullback here. Reasonable to sell, stop above the bar. We may go a little bit higher. This is a pretty good breakout to the upside. But still open gap between this breakout point and this pullback, so still have an open gap for the bears. Reasonable to sell below this bar, even though there's a tail, and we may hesitate below the bar. Okay, we pulled back first, tested that high close, and then reversed. This is a little bit better probability for me. I'm interested to sell here and stop up here or here. Another little pullback in a bear bar. This could be 1, 2, 3 legs down in a trading range near the bottom. A lot of overlap here. Tight trading range. Probably we're going to get the bear breakout, but we may need to go more sideways and form a wedge bull flag, wedge bear flag like we did here, and failed high 3. We have high 1, high 2, and it's failed. Probably we're going to get a breakout to the downside, a measured move of this range, I imagine. But again, lots of overlap and tail here, testing the low close. Bull bar, reversing up, strong bar, reasonable to get out above that bar. Also reasonable to rely on your stop. It's probably going to result in a failed high 3, but if the high 3 works, we could get a new high up here. So risky to hold short. Outside down and bear breakout of this trading range, reasonable to sell the close, stop above, and bet on a measured move down of the range, probably a measured move down of the bar. Good follow through, half a measured move in one bar, that's good. Strong opposite bar, 30% chance to get a measured move down, and we got that. So the low probability thing is playing out. Probably we're going to go lower. Sideways, but still probably lower. Okay, a high 1, another possible final flag here. We probably pull back and test these breakout points, but probably sellers above. The channel down is pretty tight. It's a small pullback bear trend. Testing the breakout point, finding sellers, reasonable to sell here. 1, 2, maybe 3 legs up. Bear breakout below this low with a tail, probably we go lower. Okay, reversing back up to the breakout point, but weak, probably sellers above. Okay, we tested the measured move of the trading range, and we're channeling lower. I suspect we go lower. We have a spike and channel pattern, but we could be forming a wedge. We have another channel formed here. So if we begin to overshoot it again, that would be consecutive sell climaxes that are parabolic, and it's likely we'll get a big reversal at some point. Bear breakout of the channel, strong close, maybe going lower, but probably profit taking down here since it's a low probability event. High 1 signal bar, reasonable, but probably sellers above. Bear breakout of bear channel, bear breakout of bear channel, 25% chance this works, 75% chance it fails within 5 bars and reverses up. So we got a really good bull breakout here, but a really weak close below the midpoint, and we found sellers at the high close here, this bull bar. So probably we go more sideways to down, rally and a breakout, but low 1 failed. Probably we rally for leg 2 for the bulls. Good signal bar, weak close, but good enough. Probably going a little bit higher. Okay, bear breakout, low 2, but worse price. So maybe we go lower. This could be leg 1, failed leg 2. But still bottom of the range. Okay to be short, but probably stop up here. Really bad to put stops here. If anything, maybe a stop above the bar, but really not ideal for that reason. Broke out to the downside and then reversed up, finding sellers above, but a reasonable signal for a high 2. And you got to be aware that this is a high 1, a low 2. If that low 2 fails, it'll trigger a high 2, and that high 2 has a higher probability of working out because it's a second entry and there's a failed second entry short. So we have that high 2 and we have a bull bar. Probably we're going to go a little bit higher, but probably again still sellers above. It's always in short. Good follow through bar, but a lot of overlap. I would be scalping above this bar. I wouldn't be holding very long, but probably the high 2 is going to play out a little bit longer. We tested the moving average and we double topped with this rally. So we have 2 legs up at the moving average in a bear trend day. But strong buying pressure here, probably enough to put the market into a trading range, so probably sideways to up. Okay, sideways to up, but doji, respecting the moving average, probably sellers above, sellers below, reasonable to short below here. I would just want my entry bar to look strong. Didn't trigger, but going higher, still below the moving average. How come we aren't closing above? Probably we go more sideways to up, but I imagine we're going to get the bear breakout. Broke above, but finding sellers up here, tail, and closing inside that range. So probably we're going to get the bear breakout. Reasonable to sell below, stop above. Okay, good. We rallied first to a lower high, and then we broke out below. I think that's a little bit higher probability. Reasonable to sell here. Good follow through, hold. Bottom of the range, reasonable to take profits. Expecting a pullback. Okay, probably good to take profits here. We broke to a new low, and we have a big tail, and we have a parabolic breakout again. So now, consecutive sell climaxes that are overshooting tells me that probably this is way overdone. We do have open gaps, but we have overlap here. We have overlap here. We do have an open gap here, and we got that measured move down. If you measure from here to here, we're about halfway through, and maybe we'll get down here. Bear inside bar, low 1, might fail if we're in a trading range. Okay, we broke to the downside, reversed up. You got to be thinking that bulls are going to buy above this bar, and they did. Even though it didn't close above, that's a strong reversal up. Probably we're going to go sideways to up from here. Another low 2, but this time it failed. Again, like over here. So maybe we'll get the bull breakout. I would be a buyer above with a stop down here. Okay, good signal bar for the high 2. High probability of a scalp to the upside. Buyers above, probably stops down here. Test of the moving average, overlapping the breakout point. Probably we have to go more sideways to up from here. But moving average, breakout point, probably going to find sellers here. Okay, big bear reversal bar. Reasonable to sell below, but the problem is we have a huge breakout for the bulls. I mean, if you look at it, the breakout is that big. It's almost as big as this leg down. That means we're probably in a broad bear channel or a trading range. And I imagine by all this buying pressure late in the day, probably we're going to go more sideways to up than more down to new lows. We have a micro double bottom at high 2 with good signal bars and entry bars. So likely we're going to form a trading range down here. But reasonable short, I would just be quick to get out. I think I actually did take the short and it ended up failing. Pulled back to the moving average and high close and tested lower. But we're holding above this little breakout point here and here. So maybe we go lower. Reasonable to hold, but got to be quick to get out if it starts to fail, like here. We have a high 3. We could get a new high. We might go all the way up here, top of the range. 1, 2, maybe we get a third leg up. Would be pretty reasonable. If I'm short, I'm probably out above that bar. Okay, bear inside bar, testing the low close here. Probably sellers at the close, disappointed, getting out and reversing back up. Probably smart to get out above the bar. Reasonable to sell below. Bull breakout, leg 3, probably going a little bit higher, but tail makes me think we'll pull back before we rally. Pulled back in a rally, closing above. Strong bar, strong close, big bar. Late in the day, buy the close rally, probably. It's always in short, and bears are going to look to take profits on the shorts at the end of the day. Moving higher, testing the top of the range, double top. So we'd probably go sideways to down from here. We have a bear inside bar, the last bar of the day. So that is the bar by bar, and I'm going to go ahead and get into my pre-market routine here. It's a nice little warm-up session, and I think I'm going to call it there and post this. So thanks. Bye.